learn more about students in VR with you today and also give this little workshop. And I also work as a chairperson of my study association and organize fun workshops for professional and personal development of students. But as you can see, I'm really not alone. I have the lovely Evelien with me here today. So Evelien, can you tell us a bit more about yourself, please?
Thanks. Hey, welcome and thank you for joining Constanze and me. I'm Evelien Ido and I have a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, and I'm currently working on my dissertation about assessment in VR for my Master Educational Science and Technology. I do a lot of other things, so if you want to know more about that, check out my LinkedIn. For example, I train employees their basic pedagogical and presentational skills, and I also am a VR training expert. So that's enough about me. You can find me on LinkedIn if you want to know more. Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Sure, add us on LinkedIn if you want to learn more about us. So let's get started. I mean, we've already been using it, a really nice and easy way to interact with each other. Yes, I'm going to adapt my microphone level even more. Can you hear me better now? Everyone can hear me fine? So, how to interact with people? You can use the emoticons, of course, to interact with people. So you can ask them general questions like we did when we took the photo, hey, just give us any kind of emoticon. But you can also ask people to give you a specific emoticon for a specific answer. So you can find the emoticons. I mean, you know it. On the bottom left in your menu, when you click on the emoticon button, then all sorts of emoticons will pop up. So we would like to get to know you better. So can you just please give us different emoticons depending on your answer? So from all the students, please give us hearts so that we can see who are the students among us. Cool, and then yes, smiley faces if you're a teacher. Nice, some teachers there. And then, oh sorry, clapping hands if you're a teacher, and smiley faces if you're just here because, well, you're just a VR fan. Nice. See, and please take a look around to see what everyone else responds. Brilliant, thank you so much. Cool. Yeah, so this is a really nice and easy way, for instance, also for people that are quite new to Altspace, to just get them to get to know Altspace and interact in an easy, nice way. And people don't have to, talk yet, which is good for people with social anxieties, and it's also good, for shy people, and just if you don't want people talking over each other all the time. Next, please. Yes. So what you can also do is to ask people to respond to a statement or a question by positioning themselves. So my statement is, I believe that by 2021 VR will be included in my standard regular education. So I'd like to ask everyone, hey, please, if you think yes, this is true, please move to the left. And if you think this is not true, please move to the right. Cool. Yeah, we've got some enthusiasts here. Very good. Yep, I'm also going to move this way because I think, yes, VR will become increasingly used. Nice. Thank you. So, again, this is a really nice and easy way to get people engaged, to get them to use the tool, so to use the function to walk around with the avatar. Very nice and easy to get an answer. Also very, very good overview. You don't have to ask people to respond out one after the other, but you can have all responses at once and a really nice overview. So, perfect. Let's move on to the next slide. So, another way to do this is to ask people to position themselves again, but on a scale function. So, my statement now is, VR has been used in my curriculum already. So, if it has never been used for you, please move to the one side. If it has been used once, to the middle, and if it has been used more than once for you, all the way to the left. Unfortunately for me, it hasn't been used. Really curious. For you? Yeah, okay, nice. Good to see that quite some people have used it already in their curriculum. Nice, cool. So again, this is a really nice and easy way to get people to answer, to get them engaged, to actively participate in your kind of presentation or meeting or whatever you do. And always, don't forget to look around to see what people actually do. I remember that I kind of forgot that, of course, I can move around my head and see what everyone else says. So this is especially good for novices to Altspace. Thank you. Next. And of course, you can also use this to answer multiple choice questions. So for instance, yeah, you would have a question, and then you had 4 answers, and people line up in front of the respective answer. And this is also great when you then want to split up groups and have people working together that gave the same answers or even opposing answers. So this is a really nice and easy way to get people engaged and interactive when responding to your answers, to your questions. Okay, and then the best thing about Altspace, I think, really is the spatialized audio. So what does it mean? Well, it's just like in a normal big room. You have the opportunity to walk around, and when you're far apart from each other, you cannot hear your voices so well. Right now I'm presenting, so I'm using the amplifier in my voice, the megaphones. Everyone can hear me quite well and loud, but if it wasn't for that, people in the back would actually not hear me that well. But you can use this in your advantage. You can make it so that people get to know each other. You can split up in small groups, you can have group discussions, and you can have virtual walk-in and drop-in hours. So you could have the teacher being in the front, for instance, and people working in different groups in different areas of the event space. And if they're far apart from each other enough, then they won't be able to hear each other. But if they had questions or if they needed help, they could walk to each other and just help each other out. So this is a really, really handy tool to allow for flexible assistance. And here you can see a photo of us, actually, for a educators at VR research team meetup, and we had this lovely big space, and we split up into small groups to get to know each other and have really good interactions, really good conversations, and really the chance to get to know people from this huge group of participants in a good, nice way in a small group. So that was awesome. And yeah, just a little reminder, the little elephant you can see here is just an example of objects you can place in event rooms. Isn't it cute? It's animated, it's lovely, isn't it? So this can really help you to spark creativity also. So you can use a variety. You can put a whole zoo into an event space. And this is great for language learning if you want to ask your students to describe the object. This is great if you just want people, for instance, come up with stories in which you want to make them use specific words or specific objects. So this can be used in many different ways. And it can even be used for a treasure hunt. I mean, we placed this elephant in the room really nicely on the stage, but you could also hide it a little bit better and then use labels and make people solve little riddles and so on. So this is a really nice way to spark your creativity by the means of objects. And I can tell you there's so many different objects. It's amazing. It's really cool. So it's a nice and inspiring way to use objects. And now we'd like you to use the spatial audio with us. So we're going to split this group depending on what your preferred color is. So everyone who likes blue, please feel free to join me. And everyone who likes orange, please feel free to join Evelien.
Yes.
And then we're just going to move to different places in this event room and try out the spatial audio. So please, everyone in the blue team, just follow me to the back to the bar. And the orange team, please follow Evelien, and I'm going to amplify my voice.
All right. So, as you guys can hear, or can't hear actually, you can't hear Constanze talking and hear her team talking, which is great, because now we can have a discussion over here while they are talking about something else. Of course, you can do this in other groups or in diets or whatever you prefer, but the spatial audio works great in Altspace. So in a while we could join back together and we can discuss what we found, you know, or we can have a group discussion with the whole group again. So these little features are great in Altspace, and we still feel like we're connected to each other even though we can't hear each other. I mean, with Zoom meetings, you can sometimes get in different rooms with these webinar tools, but then you
have enough of your little group discussions, you can join them together.
just walk over to
It's a really nice and easy way. I remember from my Zoom meetings, people had to be put into different spaces, into different breakout rooms, but honestly, then you don't have any control over it, and someone has to do it, and this is really not handy. So in Altspace, it's much better to use this.
You guys already used that spatial audio option?
Cool. Anyone had any experience with?
Yeah.
Yeah, with this spatial audio before?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyone
Okay, so now you can unmute yourself. Sorry, I forgot to turn off the mute.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Did anyone ever use this to split groups?
Don't mind me.
No, in my
I'm
life.
just eating some popcorn.
Not yet? Well, I hope
Yeah.
you might be able to use it in the future. Something that will come in handy for you. Nice. And who else has used AltspaceVR before?
I have.
Have you all? What have you used it for?
I work as a technology consultant at a university. So I've just been on AltspaceVR for a couple of years. I haven't really been to a class in here or anything,
Moved
but
from audience talking about what was going on stage to private conversation outside.
Okay, yeah, well, that's great. That's exactly what I mean. That's nice to hear that people already use it.
what about you? Where
All right.
are you?
Just since we're talking about audio, I'm having trouble hearing you guys. So if I get close to you guys, it's because I'm trying to put my ear in.
That's fine.
I can hear you, Evelyn, but can you? I didn't know if Constance had her megaphone on.
Yeah, she has. Let me text her.
I couldn't hear her when she was on stage. I just wanted to. Glad you said that. I tried to be
text me if
closer.
something like that happens. Struggle hearing you. So it's really cool because I can send Constance a message now through texting also. So if you want to send somebody a personal message, you can also do that in Altspace.
Yes. Yes, you did.
All right, guys, let's get back to the stage. I think we all now know how the spatial audio works.
Very cool.
How are you?
I call this chair. No, I call this tree.
All right. Well, sorry, but I will mute you all again now. Yep. All right, Cody, I hear that some people were struggling hearing you, so maybe you can higher your volume a bit. She has to sometimes rejoin because of the internet connection, but she will be here shortly, but we can just go on with the presentation. So I really hope you enjoyed that little exercise and don't hesitate to use this also when you are having discussions with fellow students or when you're a teacher to create discussions with students. I really like this. All right, now I will present a bit of theory, but that doesn't mean that I can't interact with my audience. As you all know, you can throw up emoticons to communicate with me. You have learned that now. But there's also a raise hand button option, so I will activate it right now. So in your bottom right of your own screen, you will see the raise hand button as this little picture next to me. And you can click on that button, and I will get a notification that somebody wants to ask a question or at least has raised their hand. So somebody clicked it already. Tony clicked it. Don't be shy. We're just testing this out. Can somebody click it? Yes, great. Okay, Tony, now you get a message that I have provided you with megaphone. So if you could say hi now.
Hey guys.
Yeah, now everybody can hear you and you could ask a question in theory. Thank you for being guinea pig for me. Yeah, thanks. And so now I can toggle Tony off again. Yeah, and that's how that works. So if you guys have any questions during my little tiny bit of theory, then you can click the raise hand button. And you can always unraise your hand if you don't have a question anymore. That's also good to know. We don't have much time, so we won't answer that many questions. So yeah, let's get to it. If you want to know more, by the way, or you want to know the sources behind these claims, don't hesitate to contact us after the event, but there's not enough time to go over it all. So first, you see motivation. You can find a ton of research that proves students feel more motivated when learning with VR or in VR. To quote Merkansky, Borregaard, and Meyer, a study from 2019, students who receive safety training in VR environments tended to give higher ratings of enjoyment than those who learned with conventional media. And furthermore, students who learned in VR showed a more positive pre-test to post-test changes in their intrinsic motivation. Now you can find a lot of research about this. There are tons of studies who have proven that VR increases motivation. Secondly, we have long-term retention. Although no effect of VR is observed on short-term retention, VR was found to have significant effect on long-term retention, which is pretty interesting. So results show that students scored and remembered better in VR conditions, even after 4 weeks, compared to watching a video and then remembering the stuff they learned. Also, a ton of research that proved that. Thirdly, deeper learning. VR can simulate real-life situations or add things to situations that make students more engaged and help them learn. For example, the ability to view 3D objects like this little elephant. You can walk around elephants, you can give multiple viewpoints, you can make it larger, you can make it smaller, you can put it up in the air. Well, this really helps when students are actively constructing new knowledge about stuff. I mean, an elephant you all know, but you can put more difficult objects in the space, for example, a small model of the COVID-19 virus, to name an example. So this really stimulates deeper learning more, especially compared to a classroom setting where you can't do these things. Next up, you have creativity, and creativity can be learned and is highly correlated to problem solving. So maybe that comes as a surprise for you, but if you think you're not creative, you can still learn to be. Claxon and Hiso have done some research about it, and it's really interesting, but I will just give you a little tiny teaser about it. So the imagination aspect of VR promotes learners in developing problem-solving capacity, especially for open-ended problems. And next to that, to name another example, you can use creative visualization, which is a technique you can use for helping learners to develop imagination in what they want to learn in VR environments. So if you're interested in learning more about that, please message me and I can send you some interesting stuff about that. Lastly, we have social benefits. Think about cooperative or collaborative learning. So VR offers a great potential for social scaffolding. With the use of AVDAR, students can work together, like you just saw in these little groups. And they are aware of each other more, because you can look around at your fellow students, especially when you are in VR. And you share a common learning environment. You can develop social skills, you can solve problems together. This is all possible in a classroom also, but in VR you can do it in a simulated, more motivating environment. If you want, you can meet wherever you want, basically. Next to this, it's interesting to note that VR can be used for simulating access to limited resources, where I mean, with resources, anything which is in high demand or in limited supply. And right now, during the COVID virus, being together in a classroom is a limited resource. So it might be an interesting substitute for that right now. All right. Has anybody got a question so far? Can you raise your hand again? Because there were a lot of hands raised, but before that, okay, correct. Go on.
My question is just with the social benefits, has anyone did a study to see whether just using your computer on 2D in AltspaceVR had any difference in engagement compared to if we're in AltspaceVR with a VR headset?
Specifically on AltspaceVR, I haven't found many studies actually, but you could look at some studies that look at other social platforms. I haven't found, basically I'm not really specifically looking at this with my study, so I haven't done a deep dive into it. But as you can imagine, VR promotes more immersion. You can find studies about VR and immersion, which could also promote a feeling of social closeness more than when you look at people in 2D. So if you are interested in that, I would look for studies about immersion, 2D compared to VR, social immersion.
It's indeed a very, very interesting question, and I think it might even be worthwhile investigating right now. I mean, this is great idea.
Yeah, no, I'm curious what you guys think about that yourself. Maybe you can chat about it after the workshop a little bit more. Thanks for your question. All right. Next, we also have some challenges, of course, with VR. So the true power of VR for education will not come from replicating existing education, like copying your presentations into VR or just do multiple choice testing in VR, but from using VR to do things that add something that couldn't be done without it. There is where the true power of VR lies. And currently that's not really happening, and I encourage you all, students, teachers, or whatever, to try and do that, to try and be creative with VR. Next up, we have platforms like AltspaceVR, but these platforms are not near perfect. It's a work in progress. And furthermore, VR, of course, asks for a lot of resources, for example, money to buy equipment, you need a stable internet connection, you need enough space, you name it. And these resources are often seen as an obstacle when wanting to use VR for education. But it's a long-term investment, so think about that as well. And lastly, going out of the comfort zone is hard, and that's especially the case when you learn how to use new technology. And like we demonstrated, a lot is possible, but you have to learn how to do it. You have to learn how to work with the hardware and software. So I have some super nice examples for you guys about what people are already doing in VR. The first example is the example of Dr. Star. He goes by the name of Dr. Star. I don't know if he's really called Dr. Star. But with VR, you can basically go on virtual field trips to wherever you want to go. It was really fun. For example, as you can see here, Dr. Star created a solar system world here in Altspace, featuring an MRE model of the universe. He made this world public, so you can visit it if you want, and you can check out the universe. It's really interesting. Another example is the example of Tim Jackson. Tim was so kind to let me observe his lessons in AltspaceVR. So his students had to present their final projects about the course about biological inspired robots. So they all presented their findings in a private room in Altspace, which means that only the teacher and the students could join the session. So I asked them about their opinions about presenting in AltspaceVR, and they all liked it. Even the ones who were fearful of presenting found it more comfortable, and the ones who liked presenting in real life were totally fine with it as well. Tim is also hosting an event during the Students in VR conference, so check that out as well. And another example is the example of the COVID-19 model. So this shows you a low poly version of the COVID-19 virus. You can import models into Altspace and show your students around, or as a student you can get creative by importing stuff to show your teachers or fellow students. So that is really funny. And lastly, we have an example of Laura van Vossen. She created this highly educational world full of information about cashiers. So this picture is taken of a cave I discovered after exploring all the interesting informational signs, pictures, and there was even a video about cashiers. So this world is mostly made with the Altspace world building kit, the same kit I used to put the elephant in. You don't have to install anything difficult. Everybody can use this in Altspace. You can create whatever world you want, and you can just spawn in objects like polar bears, water, ice, clouds, flowers, elephants, whatever you can think of. It's almost without limitations, so you can let your creativity flow. That's really interesting thing. Yeah, so these were some examples. There are many, many more examples. It's really cool. I really highly encourage you to explore the worlds of Altspace and see for yourself what you can create or what others have created. All right, we have something other to tell you, and this is going to be a bit challenging, so stay with me. I am now going to send you a link to a survey. And I don't know if you're a teacher or a student who already uses surveys. You can use surveys, for example, to check if your students grasp whatever information you explain to them, or to check out how they feel.
Yes, you can also use it as a little test after the lecture to see if they've learned enough.
So
now,
yeah, you can open the link.
so we all sent you a message now. You can open the link, and we created a really short Google Forms. So
Yeah, just an
to
example.
show you what's possible here. And you can scroll, then you use D2D with just your mouse and then scroll down the bar on the right, or with your thumb using a VR headset. And yes, it's just a Google form, and you can have different kind of questions, scales, multiple choice again. You can even put in open-ended questions, and people can just fill it in while they're here in AltspaceVR, so they don't have to switch off and wait on an email for you to send them, or nothing like that. You can choose this right here, right now, in a really nice and easy way. And we also know that, for instance, people use it for their master theses, to conduct their studies, to collect data. So you can use all this in AltspaceVR. And of course, you could also choose to just share other kind of information. You don't have to share a survey per se. You could also just share a website with other information, or with images, whatever you would like to. So that's really nice and easy way to use information during a presentation or an AltspaceVR event in general. And as Evelien has now put up, you can also then share your screen. If you're the teacher and you created a survey, for instance, you can straight away share the results with everyone. Okay.
So is this working for all of you?
Can you give us some emojicons if you've been able to open up the link? Yes, that looks good. Nice. Perfect. Yes, and then right away you can share the results with us. So this can, again, spark discussions, get people engaged. Very nice.
So
Perfect. Okay. Shall we move on to the next slide then? Hello? Can everyone hear me? Perfect.
No, not very well.
Not very well. Okay, I'm trying to increase my volume. Is it any better now?
yeah, I hope you guys can all see the screen sharing. Of course, if you can't figure out it. All right, let's still share.
All right, Evelien had to rejoin this room because she had some technical problems. She's going to be right with us. Yes, there she
Hey.
is again. Nice.
I'm
Hello
back.
again.
So I hope you guys could all see that I was sharing my screen. I mean, if I share my screen and AltspaceVR and open my DeX, my internet connection is not good enough. But I hope you guys could all see it. So you can use these surveys and get live responses on your screen, which is pretty cool. I use WebRTX. Do you guys all see the slides back again? I tried to put them up again. Can you give me some hearts if you see the slides or any other emoticons? Ah, perfect. So it does work. So if you can't see the slides, you can just try and re-enter the room. But I already got a message that it is working for everyone now. That's great. I actually never tried the screen sharing for an audience, and actually it works pretty well. It's also pretty doable to go from screen sharing to your presentation. So if you are interested in that, I would practice and try it out with your students. Of course, you can share your screen for multiple other reasons as well. Yeah. So let's go to let's get to the summary.
Yes, thank you, Evelyn. So what have we been showing you today? Well, we showed you that you can use emoticons to give answers, to interact with your audience. Very clear, very easy. But you can also differentiate by asking them to respond with different emoticons. So that's maybe an idea that not all of you knew. Also, you can ask questions and let people position themselves according to their answers, which makes it nice and easy to split people into groups. Then you can use the spatialized audio to allow for people getting to know each other in smaller groups, to allow for group discussions or even virtual drop-in hours in a really nice and easy way without having to switch between breakout rooms such you have what you have to in some sort of video conference calls that I know. So you have the power to just move to a different area of the room and you can just move around and ask people for help if needed, which you can't really do in video conference calls. You're kind of limited. And then also you can let people, of course, raise their hands to allow for a little bit of organized communication so that people don't, talk for each other, but they can still interact with each other in a nice way. You can use surveys and you can share screens, and surveys and share screens are such a versatile tool. So you can use them in so many different ways. So they open up a whole new level of interaction in Altspace, and it takes a little practice, but you can just practice on your own with using event space, and once you've got the hang of it, it's really nice and easy to use during your classes, during your meetings. So these are some interaction ways for you. And now Evelyn is going to summarize real quick how to spot creativity.
Yes. So of course these ways of interacting are the ways we came up with, but there are many more, and I highly encourage you to be creative with this and go think out of the box and come up with more ways to interact and maybe share them with us after the summary by raising your hand. So next up, we also talked about how to stimulate creativity, for example, by going on virtual field trips, by importing assets like the COVID world, or putting in elephants. You can also build your own world. That is really fun to do. It's really relaxing, I think. But you can also think about letting your students create a world around a certain topic you want them to learn. Or as a student, create a world about something you want to present to your fellow students or teachers and walk them through it, literally. Next up, problem solving in VR is something that is really fun to do together or alone, let alone think about building a world to figure out how that world has to be built. That takes a lot of problem solving and creative thinking. So it's a great platform to stimulate creativity. So definitely let's stay in touch. We have some time left for questions or suggestions or whatever. But you can find us on LinkedIn, and these are our email addresses if you want to have some background information or just chat to us. And don't hesitate to do so.
So yes, don't hesitate to get in touch and let us know how you use interactive ways or how you inspire people in Altspace. We'd love to hear it from you also. We thought of these things, but we're sure you also have great examples.
Yes. So we have some time left for questions or suggestions or whatever you want to share. So you can click on the raise hand button and I can give you the megaphone. Andrew. Here you go.
Here we go. Actually, it was in the talk. I was hoping that you could talk more about how to share the screen. You said it was possible. Where's that tool?
Yes. I can go back a little bit. So the tool is called WebRTC. If you just take a note of that and remember that you can easily Google it. It's a super easy to use tool. You can install it as a plugin on Google Chrome. And then you just click the play button and it provides you with a link which links you to shared screen. And I put a link into the browser thingy underneath my slides. You can see that if you are hosting a room. And that's it. That's it. It's as simple as that. Yeah, so try it out. If it's not working, please send me an email and I can help you out a little bit. But it's really easy. I was surprised that it was this easy. For sure. Great question. All right. Any other questions? Yes, Hunshi? I don't know if you pronounced your name right. Yes.
It's okay. My question actually comment, I revoked my statement from my revoked statement. I guess I do have experience in spatial audio, and so far, this is, I see kind of a hindrance because it was very difficult to hear you guys, and it just didn't make sense because we kept trying to get closer to the stage so we could hear you better, but some reason we could hear you like from here, and then the audio would change, and then it would come to over here. And I don't know if anybody else had that or it's just a personal problem.
Really?
But I think that could be kind of a hindrance. Also,
That's
another
weird.
hindrance in this, don't want to be a wet blanket, but there's another hindrance with this. I wish this was back when I was homeschooled, but it's more of an elite thing right now. It's more,
Yes.
this would work very well in private schools, but in public schools, it'd be very hard pressed to get the government to sign off on this. I remember back when I was in school,
Definitely.
we even got those old Macintoshes that had Oregon Trail on it. And those were like 5 years behind. But I can see with an educational stand, this could be in a good private educational tool, but as a public educational tool, I think it's way, and it's baby stages. There you go.
For sure. Yes, we are
that's my
also
2 cents.
pioneers. You are so right about that. Like I said, it costs a lot of resources to even do this, and some people don't even have full internet connection yet. I mean, we are definitely not there at all. We are all pioneers, especially the ones who are already here
Is that
in
an
VR.
Oregon Trail joke?
Yeah. But it's a great comment. Yes, and we are now setting the first baby steps into the right direction, I guess. But yeah, great comment. Keep that in mind as well.
All right. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your question. Thank you for being here. So has anybody else has a question about what we just talked about, or wants to add something, share an experience themselves? Have you built your own world, for example, or have you used VR before in a classroom setting or whatever?
Or have you used objects in event spaces yet? I mean, we have the little
Yeah.
but I'm sure people have found other nice objects too. Anyone ever used any? Maybe for
Keith.
virtual anymore.
You are a megaphone, Cantonman. Oh, you have to unmute yourself. Oh, okay, raise your hand again. I think you have some technical difficulties. His microphone is not working. Oops. Well, if you have a question, you can type it to me.
Yes, type it.
If you want. So in the meantime, if anybody else has a question, then please raise your hand.
Raise your hand or send us a message, whatever you feel like. Actually, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's all possible. Yeah. Okay, so Keith tells us that he was going to remind everybody that this platform is totally free. And that's a great comment, of course. I mean, you have to buy the VR headset. But if you are in 2D, for example, the whole platform is free to download and free to use. I mean, we are organizing a whole conference in here. And the platform doesn't charge us. You can organize lessons in here without charge. I mean, it's really cool. You can just hop in and create whatever you like. So yeah, that's a great comment.
Yes,
It's
and I think
not
it's
something
also,
to skip over.
Yes, and I think I'm also using 2D right now at the moment, for instance. And I know that, for instance, in Germany, students have more and more access to at least use laptops in schools. So I think, well, we're not there yet. That's absolutely fine. The comment has been made before, but I think AltspaceVR is a great opportunity for free VR usage, even for 2D users. So I think there's some potential at least, and yeah, I think baby steps taken in the right direction. So that's great, and it's free. So that's awesome. It's great to get together in these tough times in this way.
It's really interesting to see your volume of your microphone is pretty low, and I see people coming closer to hear you a little bit more.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
clearly,
I don't know. So I'm just going to repeat. I just said
But spatial
that.
audio, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not working too well today, but well. Yeah, I just said that at least some more students get access to using laptops in school, and then they can use a 2D version of AltSpace for free. So at least they can participate in some sort of way without having to buy expensive VR headsets, and they can still use this to socialize, to interact with each other. So I think it's a baby step in the right direction, and hopefully it'll get more attention by everyone.
Yes. Okay, we have another question from Tigran. Here you go. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, hi everyone. I would like to know, does AltspaceVR allows us to customize our environment? So can we add something or delete something from the basic?
That's a good question. There are some things you can delete from the basic rooms. For example, on this stage there was a microphone stand and a microphone on it. So we deleted them, and there was a whole block of seats in here. But for example, the couches or the lounge things you see behind you, they can't be deleted, or the bar. You know, this template is pretty limited. But you can build your own template, and you can change whatever you want about that. You can build it with a rules editor, but you can also be a little bit more technical and try Unity, which is also not that difficult, but you know, it's a next step. But from these templates, as you can call it, you can't change that much. You can add stuff, remove little bits, but not too much.
And when I build my own room, can I add some tools, and not the things, but tools which can help me to do my presentation?
By tools you mean screen, or what do you mean?
For example, pen, pencil, or something like a Blackboard.
Can you repeat that?
By saying tool, I mean pen, pencil, or Blackboard, which can help me to do the presentation better.
There are some tools. Let me see if I can spawn some of them in. For example, it's quite silly, but we have a laser pointer over here. It's easier to use in VR. As you can see over here, I have a laser pointer. So that can come in handy. I can give it to you if you want to try it out, actually. There we go.
Something which will help me to write.
There is a pen tool in Altspace, but it's not great. So you can use, for example, just share your screen and type stuff in there. I don't think, because you're the audience, you can't use the pointer. I'm sorry, but I could give you a right to present, and then you would be able to join it, to use it. But there aren't great pen tools.
But we've been using in the students in VR and the researchers team for education, we have been using the share screen and then typing in Google Docs.
AltspaceVR is free. Where is the business model?
I don't know, actually. I guess getting the platform really popular could be a strategy. I have no clue. I'm not into business that much.
You can find here. That's why I have a lot of questions.
Yeah. Well, for now it's free. So. Anything else?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. Of course, you have other platforms as well. I mean, AltSpace is one platform, and we just talked about AltSpace, but have you heard about Engage? Oh shit, you're muted. Wait, let me give you the microphone again. Yep, there you go. Have you heard of the platform Engage?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the question. Can you repeat, please?
There are other platforms as well, for example, Engage. Have you heard of that platform?
Which platform, sorry?
Engage.
Engage? No.
So that's also a... yeah, well, no, it's different. It's more photorealistic, I would say. And it has a little bit more of a serious feeling to it. And there you can use the pen tools. You could Google that platform as well. It's not totally free to use anymore, but it's relatively cheap. So that would be an interesting option for you as well, maybe.
It also allows me to connect with 2D and VR and cardboard as well? Or you don't?
Yes. Well, cardboard, I don't know, but you can connect with your laptop through 2D or in VR. Yeah. Kind of works the same as Altspace. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much for your help.
Of course, no problem. So, if there is another question, please let me know. If not, then I would really want to thank you for your attention, and thank you, Connie, for making this awesome presentation with me. I really had a lot of fun working together with you, fellow students.
You.
You
Thank
did a
you all
great
for
job.
being here with us today. Thanks, Evelien, for this great presentation as well. Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
with us today, and we hope you learned something new. You can try those things by yourself, and get in touch with us if you have any more questions, if you want to know more about the literature. You can find us on LinkedIn or email us. And we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Enjoy your day.
If everybody can, let me megaphone myself for that. If everybody could just give a big round of applause for this very, very interactive, very original presentation. One of the most creative ones I know I've been to here in Altspace. It was awesome. Thank you guys so much. You guys did a fantastic job. I learned so much, and I'm always in VR. So it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing, you guys.
Thanks to all from Altspace for support.
Yeah, well, and we appreciate everybody coming here to learn more so that we can get more users and more people engaged. So you guys really help move VR forward by showing so many more skills for everybody here. I wanted to let you guys know that we have a volunteer in the audience in a bit, Elijah, who's going to spawn a portal for us to get to our next talk. And I don't know if Craig is still in here. He probably already, Craig, are you still in here? Craig is going to have his two mentors. Evelien was a mentor for Connie, and Craig is a mentor for two students that will be talking about how VR helped in education, but also in how to deal with fear of heights. And I know I'm way up here right now, and people hang from rafters and they fall. And so I'm really interested to know how people are going to be interacting with their fear of heights in the very next talk. I'm going to look to, I think, Elijah, can you spawn that now? We'll let you spawn it now. We can do it like 3 minutes before, so we might have to wait 2 minutes. I'm going to unmute so that we can, I'm going to unmute you all so you guys can also chat with each other while Elijah
Yeah, it's 25 after, so we've got like 2 minutes.
We got 2 minutes. If you guys wanted to chat and share and come up and meet your wonderful presenter person.
See you randomly.
Or pet the elephant. And in 2 minutes, Elijah will spawn the portal for our very next event.
Portal to like another speaker's series.
What was this about? Acrophobia.
I only came during like the last 2 minutes. They didn't even.
I'm gonna jump.
They just are like, we're gonna open it. The next talk is gonna be about fear from falling from big heights and.
It's
I have that.
How's your day?
Oh, you do?
It's called the
Oh,
good. Okay.
So we are.
Still morning for me, so.
Oh. Okay.
So are we ready to go there?
Go ahead.
It won't let me spin a portal. I have to wait until it starts.
They look so professional up on the screen.
Let me see.
Thanks for helping out with the conference.
Constance.
This is so weird that I cannot spawn a portal.
Of the
Yeah, it
Evelyn.
says,
On my
going 30
LinkedIn
minutes.
LinkedIn
Mhm.
profile, I have a duck
We
face.
used to have this problem
A what?
all the time.
Duck face, you get it.
Go
The
to
link.
Sorry, if you're both talking, I really
A
struggle
duck
to hear you.
face?
Okay, come again,
Okay, so
come
where
again.
is the next one?
You know what that is?
Yeah. The duck face where you stick your lips out. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you got it.
What about?
What I got?
There it is.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That would be so
That's
bad.
awesome, Elijah.
Please, everybody click it.
Everybody ready to spawn? Go ahead and click it and they'll take us over to the next spot.
VR as acrophobia
Okay, enjoy, guys.
efficacy of high school VR clubs.
Okay. Click it in 5,
Hey.
4, 3,
Got 8.
2. I'll say that.
Click it now.
You guys wanna come?
Anybody else want to come? Are we-
Struggling with the
Okay,
audio.
they can enter later.
Here we go.
I'll say that.
Okay, thank you. Confirm, everybody.
Oh, I guess I didn't confirm. Evelyn, I guess I didn't confirm. You guys did such a fantastic job. You guys just really did great. That was amazing. And so I hope you guys will be able to join us for the rest of the time. But like, wow, just wow. I mean, you guys were really, really great. I cannot even. So I'm going to run to the next one. I just wanted to say what a fabulous job you guys did. And thank you so much for being a part of it. You guys are great. Okay, I'm gonna run to the next thing. Bye, guys.
There's a portal. There's a portal right there.
Oh, wait.
See y'all later.
Are you gonna join this portal? Well, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
You wanna join the portal?